Hello and welcome to We Do Business Here, shifting library staff perspectives on supporting entrepreneurship. My name is Caitlyn Tips, and I am a public services librarian senior with Plano Public Library in Plano, Texas. Today, I will be providing a roadmap for shifting from a traditional librarianship perspective of service and programs to one that is openly supporting community business interests. Please note, there are things that will always be unique to your library environment and the perspective of staff within it. And today's presentation is a guideline only on what has worked here in Plano and garnering more support for entrepreneurs. When first looking at how the library can support small businesses, we need to understand the needs of our community. So a little bit about Plano. Plano, Texas is located north of Dallas, Texas, with over 287,000 residents. The city has over 13,000 businesses and at least 67 Forbes Global 2000 companies. So we've got a decent mixture of small to large businesses in the area. This information is important as it demonstrates an interest and potential need for resources for entrepreneurial support in our community. A little bit about our journey, though. We haven't always supported business needs as actively as we are now. Prior to 2018, 2020, what we offered was limited to non-existent. Staff involvement and support was lacking. We have, over the last 5 years, gradually increased our support of these needs through additional services, resources, partnerships, and program opportunities. So looking at those business needs, that's what is most common that libraries can provide. Our access to space, business development tools, such as printers, computers, scanners, etc., in addition to the information access tools like online databases. These could include access to reference solutions, IBIS World, Gale Entrepreneurship, or other equivalents to these resources. When looking at business programs, we began small and mostly with partnership-led programs with local entities like Dallas SCORE, the Service Corps of Retired Executives, who were able to fill that gap between staff support and patron needs. Today, we continue to partner with Dallas SCORE and other local businesses and financial entities to support businesses in addition to our staff-led business-focused content. But how did we get there? We determined what gaps in community support we were trying to fill. With the advent of the 2020 pandemic, we found an increase in interest in entrepreneurship in our community. We had to determine what we were trying to get out of supporting these needs, which led us to developing a mindset change. The traditional librarian mindset we receive in training is we do not provide legal, medical, or financial advice, and this is still true. But when it becomes a limitation to service, that is when a shift in perspective needs to occur. When we decided to offer business and career library programs, our biggest challenge was overcoming this mental block and getting to a place where staff could confidently say, we have informational support for business needs. How do you get there? We worked on changing staff's mindset, their perspective on business needs, and how the library can provide services to support them. Please note this is a gradual process. It is not something that happens overnight in 6 months, and unfortunately, even in 6 years, you're probably going to still deal with needing to overcome a shift in understanding of how libraries can support a new service. Our key to overcoming this was introducing our goals with a caveat that all we were trying to accomplish was the basic mission of the library, access to information. We, the library staff, are not providing expertise nor claiming expertise. Our goal in offering support is to look at what we have and to think of a way we could support entrepreneurship. When we began doing that, we just looked at what we had already. At the time, we had access to Adobe Creative Cloud, online databases, and had received training from Google about getting businesses online. We then began asking, how can we use this to support the needs of this group of people in our community? With Adobe Creative Cloud, we shifted our perspective from Adobe purely as a graphic designer's chosen tool to how would a business owner use this? We created our Grow Your Business with Adobe Creative Cloud series based on that question. It spanned topics such as flyer creation, product photography, headshots, promo videos, social media marketing, and more. Starting with something you already have is a great way to open doors with a new area of programming. But your mindset is not just about what you already have, it's looking at what opportunities are in front of you. And that does include relationship building opportunities with partners. Partnerships fill in the gap on things that you don't do, but they also increase staff confidence by giving you a resource to lean upon and recommend or refer entities to answer those questions we cannot. So when you're looking at developing this mindset for your staff, don't be afraid to look at things that are not traditionally business programs. Look at what you already have and see if there's a new frame of reference you can put on it, a new spin to translate that to a business perspective. Now let's talk about tools and resources for success. These are tools to use throughout the program development process and are important for creating sustainable knowledge management for your library, which is essential for building staff buy-in. Let's start with assessment tools. Assessment is essential to staff buy-in as it allows you to determine what is working and what is not. If new initiatives are not resonating with staff or patrons, it can work against your goal to support entrepreneurs. These tools can include the following: metrics, which is any piece of data that provides information such as attendance, email addresses, zip codes, survey results, or staff evaluations. It also includes program evaluations. This could include the more gray area feedback of, were your participants engaged? Did your staff feel supported? Did they feel confident in presenting the content? It also includes checklists. Use a checklist to audit your current available resources to support entrepreneurship. If you use this QR code or bit.ly link, you can access tools created by staff here at Plano Public Library to help determine a starting point for growing or continuing to support your entrepreneurial ecosystem. It includes an action plan, brand script, example survey, and more. And finally, please be aware of when you're introducing new language, new jargon to your staff and patrons, that for business support, there's already a language in place. And you want to be aware of that and support your staff knowledge by introducing that knowledge effectively to your staff. So things like NCIS industry codes or whatever the equivalent of that may be in your area. You want to be aware that that's not common knowledge to your staff. And the best support you can give them is outlining those expectations of using correct language in that sphere and giving them the tools to support that knowledge base. Because, again, we know what we don't do. We don't do legal advice, we don't do medical advice, which means we don't use that kind of terminology. But when we are entering a support endeavor for entrepreneurship, we do need to be aware of the language used in that so we can more effectively share that information. And finally, I do want to also point out that there are numerous resources out there to help support the growth and understanding of how libraries can support business development. One of the more prominent is the Libraries Build Business Initiative, a national initiative of the American Library Association. They have published the Libraries Build Business Playbook communications toolkit, and more, in addition to providing mentorship opportunities for library staff looking to support business in their communities. This has included mentorship and coaching opportunities that you can register for online that are completely free. And there are also listservs for new business librarians that you can join and include things like monthly coffee chats with librarians across the country to learn more about different resources used at different entities, whether you are an academic business librarian, a public business librarian, or in some sort of specialized library. There are resources out there to help you learn more. I know I personally have benefited greatly from these resources as I was learning more about how to support entrepreneurship. Now, as we are talking about supporting staff and building that mindset change, it is truly important to provide support for your staff. Successful support occurs when you are able to identify staff who want to participate. When you find staff who want to dive into entrepreneurship support, give them the space to create content. However, you want to make sure that this passion is sustainable and that you do not overburden your staff who show interest. Maybe they have 15 program ideas they are excited to try out to support this area, but you want to help manage that enthusiasm by adding in programs incrementally. If you schedule or attempt to offer them all at once, you might end up causing staff excessive stress, which could lead to burnout or bad experience in supporting business programming. You want to foster that support, and so incremental increase is highly important. But also consider your communication. Consistent communication is essential for staff buy-in and successful support of any library services and programs, not just those focused on entrepreneurship. Creating systems to document decision-making, templates for programs, resource hubs, scheduling check-ins, or anything else that will allow your team to have opportunities for support. At Plano, our business and career content creation teams have regular bi-monthly check-in meetings, in addition to a system for reaching out in between. Having those clear lines of communication allows staff to feel prioritized for successful business support. Giving your staff tools, program templates that set up expectations of service can provide staff a boost in confidence that their support of business programming does not mean they are implying business expertise. Something as simple as a disclaimer: this program is presented by a library professional, not a business expert, and information shared is current as of the time of this program, can go a long way in building confidence and staff comfort in supporting business programming. When these elements are done, you increase staff confidence, which leads to long-term engagement in support of these services and programming. Again, I can't stress enough, it doesn't happen overnight. In our experience, it was an incremental shift occurring over the last few years. But hopefully this presentation assists your library in shifting perspectives on business programming from a "we don't do that here" to "we do business support here." If you have any questions about this presentation or would simply like to reach out to discuss more of library entrepreneurial support, please feel free to email me at caitlyn@plano.gov. Thank you.